Example number 9 has got 4 sections, A, B, C, and D, all on separate slides. So let's start with question A. What is the general term? Now, what you will notice about this is that it's got this ellipsis in the middle, and this means it continues, right? Meaning that there are numbers in between there that we don't know what they are, but they exist. The second thing I want you to see is this period or full stop at the end. This marks the end of the sequence. So what does this mean? It means that we know the first value, and it means that we know the last value. Whereas if we look at example number 8, there was an ellipsis, but we did not know the end because the end was not given. So the difference between example 8 and example 9 is example 8 tells you the first few terms, whereas in example 9 it tells you the first few and the last one. Okay, so let's answer the first question. What is the general term? Start with your formula. Term n is equal to, it's geometric, right? So this is a r n minus 1. Now, what do we need for this to work? We need to know what is a. A is equal to 12. Now we need to know what is r. I forget my colors. Okay, what is r? R is equal to term 2 divided by term 1 and term 3 divided by term 2. Or let's do it this way. Term 3 divided by term 2. So let's see, we are saying negative 6 divided by 12, and we are saying 3 divided by negative 6. What do these give you? You can go to your calculator. There is absolutely no shame in that. Negative 6 over 12, that gives us an answer of negative a half. And 3 over negative 6 is also negative a half. So we now know that r equals negative 1 over 2. Let's substitute our values. Not sure I like the purple. Okay, so term n is equal to a, which is 12, multiplied by r, which is negative a half, to the power of n minus 1. That is your answer for question A. 12 bracket negative a half bracket n minus 1. Now let's answer question B. What is term 6? First thing you write down is your formula. So now it's not a formula, now it's an equation, right? So term n is equal to 12 bracket negative a half bracket n minus 1. Substitute for term 6. So the 6 we're going to put in wherever we see n. So term 6 is going to be equal to 12 bracket negative a half bracket 6 minus 1. Or you can write 5. Input that exactly the way that it is into your calculator. 12 bracket negative 1 over 2 sideways, close bracket, exponent 6 minus 1. That gives us an answer of negative 3 over 8. So term 6 is equal to negative 3 over 8. The end. Question C. For question C, they're asking us which term is equal to 3 divided by 256. Okay, so this 256 is your term n. So we know from the formula, term n is equal to 12 bracket minus a half bracket n minus 1. Term 6 is going to be, or unknown term, is 3 over 256 on the left hand side equals 12 bracket negative a half bracket n minus 1. We want to solve for n. We want to get n alone. First thing, we want to get rid of this 12. So we divide by 12 on both sides. Okay, so let's do that on the calculator. The green number, 3 over 256. move to the side. Now we're going to do this yellow portion divided by 12. And that gives us 1 over 1024. 1 divided by 1024 is equal to bracket negative a half, close bracket, n minus 1. Please, 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 the bracket is extremely important. Without the bracket, it means that that negative sign is not included, and we can't have that. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to convert this to an exponent with the same base. And instead of using our old method, we are going to use the logarithm method. So what we're doing is we're going to go with the same base. And for that to work, I want you to input the logarithm. So your logarithm is going to be log, this is your base, negative 1 over 2. You're going to find that this is going to create a problem. 1 over 1024. Okay, so let's have a look. If I go to my calculator, I'm going to log negative 1 over 2 sideways, 1 over 1024. And I press equal. I have, can you see that I have the I number at the bottom there? If I do it on your calculator, I think, let's see, negative 1 over 2, move to the side, 1 over 1024. You get an error message. And the reason for this error message is going to be this negative sign. You cannot, no minus on log. Okay, which means you are now going to put in a positive half. Okay, when you do the logarithm, you cannot use a negative sign. No negative signs. But if you do the same thing, let's go back here and we say, okay, do the same thing, remove the minus sign. All of a sudden you get an answer, and the answer is 10. So the logarithm of 1 over 1024 to the base of a half is equal to 10. This means that on my left-hand side, I can now write the same base. Remember, we wanted the same base, right? So my base is going to be bracket minus a half is equal to bracket minus a half n minus 1. What's different now is that I can now write this exponent, because this is equal to 10. So that's equal to 10. Now I can drop my bases. These two are identical. I can cancel them out, and I can say, okay, 10 is equal to n minus 1 plus 1 on both sides. So n is equal to 11. This means that term 11 is equal to 3 over 256. That's what it means. Okay. Last question on example 9. How many terms are there in the sequence? So this one's new. The other three were the same for question or example 8. But this one's new. How many terms? Okay, how do we decide on this? Now, I'm going to remind you that we know that there's a last term, but we don't know which term that is. This is still very much term n for us. So you're going to write out the formula. Term n is equal to 12 bracket negative a half bracket n minus 1. Now we're going to input this value as term n. So negative 3 over 2048 is equal to 12 bracket negative a half bracket n minus 1. Let's get rid of that. Let's use this one. Let's get rid of this 12. So we divide by 12 on both sides. This means that we're going to say on our calculator, negative 3 over, hold on, we don't want to do that 10. Okay, negative 3 over 2048, move to the right, divided by 12, and that gives us negative 1 over 8192. That is equal to negative 1 over 2 n minus 1. Now, what is your goal? You want to have the same base. And the reason for that is your unknown is the exponent. We're going to use the logarithm. So we're going to input log. Now remember, we can't put in a negative number. So we put positive a half. Now what would happen if we put a negative number on the other side? Can I say minus 1 over 8192? Is that allowed? What was the rule? No negative signs on your logarithm. So this must be plus and this must be plus. No negative signs, okay? So everything must be positive. Go to our calculator, log a half, move to the side, 1 over 8192. And that gives us an answer of 13. So this means that on the left hand side, I can now put negative a half to the power of 13, which is what I got from my calculator. So this 13 is that exponent, and that is equal to negative a half n minus 1. Now I can drop my bases. So 13 is equal to n minus 1 plus 1 on both sides. N is equal to 14. This means that there are 14 terms in this sequence. Okay.